All right, I just watched this video on Cynthia G's channel that's dealing with this father and his daughter. And it was involving an incident where the daughter was being removed from the school because of behavioral problems. And the father was on the scene or on the location whenever they were trying to remove the 16-year-old from the school. So apparently, like I said, she had gotten to an altercation at school and they were removing, the girl because of her behavior. And in the video, it showed the officers using their tasers to tase the young lady. Now, the father was interviewed by I guess, the local news crew that was, in the city in which they live. And his response to what was going on was that one, the school didn't handle the situation the way that they were supposed to handle the situation. I guess they have certain protocols that they were supposed to follow, and one of those protocols was supposed to have been allowing the young lady to go and talk to the counselor, which, from what he's saying, I guess that wasn't done. And another issue that the father had was that he felt like he couldn't intervene in the situation because he was in fear of his life. He felt like that if he would have intervened, that the officers would have shot him on the spot. And chances are he's probably right about, that assessment. So here's the issue that I have with it, and I guess this is kind of like what Cynthia G was trying to say. As black men, we're supposed to be the protectors of our communities. We are supposed to be, on the front lines whenever, some crazy stuff threatens our families and our people as a whole. And from what she's saying, which I can't disagree with her, is that we're not, that we have become subjugated to a society and a civilization that puts us in a how can I say it, I don't want to use the word vulnerable, in a weakened state. That's the term that I use, to the point where black men cannot be the protectors of their families. Hell, we can't even protect ourselves, so to speak. Although you do have some black men that are like, fuck it, if you come at me sideways, I'm gonna come at you sideways. You do have some black men out there that are like, whatever way you bring the fight, I'm gonna bring the fucking fight, in the same manner. But what she's talking about is collectively as a whole, black men, when it comes to situations like that, we don't do shit. For instance, like with the Trayvon Martin thing, whether, no matter how you feel about the incident, the young man is dead. But the dude that took his life, he's still walking around. And according to a lot of the documents that have come out about this guy and his attitude, he's got a long list of, incidences with the police. And this guy hasn't been locked up. Nothing has happened to him. He basically killed this young man for whatever reason, and he got away with it. But this bitch is still breathing. He's still walking around. He's still enjoying his life. And it's getting to the point now where black women are like, we can't depend on, the black man to protect us. So we have to, do it ourselves. And this is one of the reasons why you have this big ass divide between black men and black women. And that's just one of a laundry list of issues that we have within our community. Now, dealing with the other side of this shit, I understand where the brother was coming from. And I guess some people would say, well, that's a no-brainer. Well, I guess that depends on, if you're in his shoes. Because let's say that if he would have went on and did what he had to do. And I'm like Cynthia G. If it's my child, I'm gonna put my life on the line, but all of us don't feel that way. Some of us, who think like soldiers, sometimes you look at shit like, okay, I'm gonna live to fight another day. But the question is he gonna live to fight another day? And that remains to be seen. But dealing with situations of that nature, let's say that he would have went in, did what he had to do, protected his daughter, he would have gotten arrested, charges would have been brought up against him, or he could have possibly been shot. And if that would have been the case, then what happens in the aftermath of that? All of us who are looking at this dude like, yo, you should have went in and handled your business. Then when his life is snuffed out, the dust settles, his daughter has a chance to calm down and, reevaluate the situation. His family has a chance to calm down and reevaluate the situation. We as a people have a chance to calm down and reevaluate the situation. Then what? What do we do for his family when he's dead and gone? Who provides for his family? Who becomes the father figure, in this child's life? Because whoever steps up to become the father figure, you can never replace her dad. So how do we handle shit like that when collectively as a whole, we do not have a black army? We do not have a black military system. So when it comes to things like that, how do we handle situations like that? Even if we deal with the fact of, dealing with black women who have been attacked by police, or, just random people, that are out and about. How do we go about, dealing with those situations when a black man does step up and let's say he gives his life to protect a black woman that he does not know, and then weeks, months, maybe a couple of years later, this person is out there doing some stupid shit. And let's say that even in the midst of this man going to protect her, the shit that she was doing after the dust settles was on some bullshit anyway. He just lost his life over an incident that was idiotic. So when we look at situations like that, why should a man or even a woman step up to, be a martyr for some motherfuckers that are not going to change? And that's the argument that I've always had when it comes to the shit that we deal with in this country. I don't have a problem with going to war. I don't have a problem with throwing my hands. Whatever way you want to bring the fucking fight, hey, have no problem with it. But at the end of the day, why should I make myself into a martyr for some motherfuckers that are not going to do right? Now, I don't know what the situation was with this young lady. Her father said that she had some behavioral problems. Who knows? Maybe that's what was going on at the school. There are two sides to every story. I agree 100% with how Cynthia feels, because I feel the same way. But unfortunately, I'm just one dude and I'm not Superman. And even if I was, hell, that motherfucker had a weakness. His weakness was kryptonite. So if his weakness was kryptonite, sooner or later somebody's going to find out what his weakness is, exploit that shit, and use that shit against him. So same thing with black men. They know we don't have a military. That's our weakness. And then on top of that, to reinforce that weakness, they know that, collectively as a whole, we don't have that support. So those things can be used against you. And, they realize that anytime you have an enemy, your enemy is going to study, its adversary. And they're going to find your weaknesses. They're going to exploit your weaknesses. And once they learn how to control you, they're going to move in for the kill. And that's the way that they've always operated. And that's how they are able to keep us in check. Not just, us as a people, but black men in particular. And, it's just gotten to the point now where, I'm so fed up with the shit that, it's like sometimes, you want to throw your hands up in the air and just be like, fuck it. Just, you want to be like the dude that was in the movie, The Matrix, the first Matrix, where he was like, look, man, I can't deal with this shit no more. He made a deal with the fucking machines and he was like, put me the fuck back to sleep, man. Sometimes that's the way I be feeling, because I'm like, what the hell does it take for us to get up, stand up, and do what the fuck we need to do? When they move on us, what's wrong with us standing up and moving back on them the same way that they move on us? Because they whipping our ass because and taking our lives because they know that they can. Because they like, you niggas are not gonna do anything. The only thing you're gonna do is protest, march, try to get some businesses and shit shut down, and that's pretty much it. They don't fear that shit. They don't give a fuck about a couple of businesses shutting down. They don't care about that, because as soon as one closes down, another one is gonna pop up. It's just like when you're dealing with drug dealers. You take out one, hell, it's another one right around the corner waiting to pop up. So, they don't give a fuck about that shit. They don't care. Doesn't bother them not one bit. So I don't know what it's gonna take. I do think we're gonna rise. I don't think I'll be around to see that shit. Although that's one of the damn reasons why I work out. That's why one of the reasons why I changed my diet, because I want to be around long enough to see this shit fall. I want to be around long enough to see my people rise. But in order for us to rise, you gotta stop being fucking cowards, man. Even when it comes to things that are not confrontational in the sense of being physical, even on a mental, spiritual level, you gotta stop punking out. Just like this is Black History Month, and I watched a video with Professor Griff, recent video where he was dealing with the Black Museum. Don't know what city he was in, but he said something that was really key. He was like, during the month of February, you have all of these damn distractions. One is the Super Bowl, one is All-Star weekend, another one is the Grammys, and I can't remember the fourth one, but all of these things are taking place during those 4 weeks in February. And the majority of the people, including our people, especially our people, are glued to the TV to watch these things. And this is what's occupying their time and their mentality. So when do you think about Black history? When do you think about pushing that damn issue? The shit is not being taught in school, and then the shit that they're teaching in school is not Black history. That's African American history. Our history is not localized or placed in one geographical area. We were all over the damn planet. When you say Black history, you talk about things that we did all over the planet, not just in the fucking United States, man. Our history did not begin after goddamn slavery. We had a history well before slavery, but niggas have become complacent in the fact in the way of they don't want to study this shit. They don't want to push the agenda. They've become complacent to the point where whatever the dominant society says, this is what you need to teach to your children, that's what we bow down to. And right now they're going to teach them the same old bullshit that they always teach them. And that's not to say that they don't need to teach them that history, but man, they know about Martin Luther King. They know about Malcolm X. They know about Fannie Lou Hamer. They know about all these people, man. They know about Thurgood Marshall. They know about all of these people. That's a no-brainer for them. But they don't know about the civilizations that we had throughout the world, that we had in China, Japan, throughout Asia, India, even in Europe when we were ruling as the Moors, the things that we did as Hebrew Israelites, the things that we did in Africa as Africans, the things that we did right here in the United States or throughout South America and throughout Mexico as the Olmecs or the indigenous people on this part of the planet. They don't know about those things. And it's like when you are awake and you talk about these things, you become the enemy. You already know how, the dominant society is going to look at it, but your own people look at you like you fucking crazy. And then they kind of get pissed off at you because you even take the notion, you have the audacity to say, look, that shit that you're teaching, that is not Black history. African American history is not Black history. That's an aspect of Black history, but that's not Black history. Remember, it's called Black history. not African American history. So we don't keep the shit to one geographical area. We expand it. But these are some of the things that, we've become cowards in not displaying who and what the fuck we are. So, like I said, I don't know what the fuck it's gonna take, but that's my rant for today. Hopefully things are gonna get better, but like I said, I don't think I'm gonna be around to see this shit, but who knows? There have been stranger things that happen, so maybe this shit is gonna change. But other than that, man, this is Hakim Muhammad giving y'all, my thoughts for the day. And, till the next time, peace.